to Reality Tea Times 2, the podcast where we discuss all the trash reality TV we love to hate. I am Tanika, and today we're going to be discussing The Single Life. So, I really appreciate everyone being very patient with me with getting these episodes out. I'm trying my best to get them out to you. Of course, you're going to be probably dumped in the next few days with all of the new episodes from the previous week. But I'm doing my best to get them all out to you as quickly as possible before I can't for a little bit. So anyway, before we get into the episode, I do have some hot goss for you guys. So, Leon Brown, who is Mary's son, and their partner, Audrey, as we kind of can know, we haven't seen much of them. They are kind of leading a relatively private life in the moment. They're currently living in Colorado and have been for the last few years. They actually even got married, and didn't really tell anyone. It was private and it was a self-officiated ceremony. But they have added to their family. They've added a husky and 2 pups. Currently, Leon and Audrey have Coda, who is a lab German Shepherd mix, and Mosby. And Mosby is a miniature poodle terrier, Chihuahua, and Alaskan Malamute, and which is actually one of Mary's favorites. The new pup actually arrived before Garrison's passing, so, hopefully that can give them a little bit of, I don't even know, not even escape, but just something that can give them some love in this time. But it's cute. Puppies. Anyways, that was that. Next thing, we have talked about this before at the end of the last season of F-Boy Island. But here we go. Nice Gals and F-Girls. It's a little bit of time for a rebrand because they're actually going to be known as Lovers and Liars. So EW can exclusively reveal the 3 leads of the F-Boy Island spinoff, formerly known as F-Girl Island, and they're all familiar faces, as we've mentioned before, although one of them is actually not going to be on the show. I believe I previously mentioned Mercedes. It's not. So we've got F-Boy Island Season 1's Casey Johnson, if you remember him. He did reappear in the 2nd season as well. We have Season 2's Benedict, who again did reappear in the previous season, Season 3. And we have Season 3's CJ Weathers, who was an F-Boy, and he was kind of going after, I believe it was Hallie was her name. So we have, no, not actually, sorry, CJ was not Hallie, it was, oh shit, what was her name? Not Katie, the other one. Anyway, yeah, so the 3 will be tasked with deciding who of the 24 women that join them are looking for love or who are just in it for the chance to win $100,000. If you've caught up on the title switch from F-Girl Island to Lovers and Liars, don't worry, because, yeah, an exclusive video that is kind of out there if you want to find it, which was of host Nikki Glaser, is a little bit, maybe a little bit confused as well. She says, quote, "One might think this show is called F-Girl Island, but it's not, you silly goose. It's not. It's called Lovers and Liars." So, from the executive producer, Elon Gale, tells EW, quote, "All of us are immensely proud to present Lovers and Liars, a show that is definitely not F-Girl Island. Honestly, we have no idea where that rumor came from. We've never even heard of her. She doesn't even go here." I see what you did there. Okay. So the men are looking forward to flipping the script on the F-Boy Island format. It feels a whole lot better when 24 girls are dating you, Benedict says. Also saying, it's a relief knowing that I'm gonna get that I'm not gonna get eliminated just because of my resting F-Boy face. Right? CJ calls Lovers and Liars a full 360. Well, isn't that three? You know what? It's a 180, not a 360. You're just going right back to where you were. But anyways, from his experience on F-Boy Island, he says, quote, I was in control of my destiny and could make a decision. Casey adds that while it was nice not to be worried about being sent home, there was now a fear of picking the wrong girl, which is equally worrisome. So I do have a promo pic of the 3 men that I will post to our socials. Casey says it became difficult to know who was there for money and who was there for a relationship once he started catching feelings. He said, quote, most red flags fly out the window. So no matter what the show is titled, one thing is for sure. In the words of Casey, quote, love, man, it never gets any easier. So Lovers and Liars premieres on a Thursday, April 11th at 9 p.m. on the CW. There will be a special preview airing on April 1st. And no matter what, come hell or high water, y'all, I will be covering this show. Some way, somehow. I will be covering it. I'm excited for it. So there's that. Next. Now I know probably a lot of people know this already from watching the Love is Blind reunion, for which I have not watched yet, but I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I'm on Monday. So I'm getting there. So Nick Lachey has revealed, and Netflix also announced on their Instagram that we have Jessica, Micah, and Izzy are going to be taking part in a little show we like to call Perfect Match. Meanwhile, the streaming platform shared a photo of the trio from the reunion. So I guess they were there. Sorry, I haven't seen it yet. And wrote in the caption, quote, out of the pods and back on Netflix. Micah, Jess, and Izzy are on the new season of Perfect Match coming this summer. So I do have that picture. I'll post that as well. So if you want to know, season 2 of Perfect Match is set to kick off sometime this summer on Netflix. And I will cover it once it comes out. So there you go. Next piece of podcast that I have for you, and then we'll jump into the episode. If we remember, Tyler Cameron, who appeared on The Bachelorette, is set to star in a new home renovation series for Prime Video. The show is called Going Home with Tyler Cameron, and it will follow him as he moves back to his Florida hometown to follow his dream of starting his own construction and home renovation company. All 8 episodes of the docuseries will debut on this streaming platform on April 18th. The official logline for the new show reads, quote, after the sudden loss of his mother, Tyler moved back to his hometown, Jupiter, Florida, to reunite with his family and finally achieve his goal of launching his business, Image One. With the help of his team members, house flipping expert Rob Rich and Miami-based interior designer Jessica Quintero, Tyler builds his company from the ground up, exceeding his clients' expectations one home renovation at a time. So he says about the new show, quote, making the show over the past 4 years has been a labor of love, and I'm extremely thankful to my team and the teams at Amazon and High Noon for all of their hard work and time that went into creating it. This show has everything from heart and grit to family, friends, and personal challenges, and I cannot wait to share my beautiful hometown and all my favorite people with everyone. The series will also feature some familiar faces from Bachelor Nation, including former Bachelor and teammate Matt James, Rachel Kirkconnell, no shit, Jason Tartick. If we remember, Jason was dating, what's her face? Sorry, guys. It's not going to me when her name is at the very moment. you know. And Hannah Brown. Hmm. If we remember, Tyler was on Hannah Brown season. So since his time on The Bachelorette, if you're curious, Cameron has most recently starred in Special Forces World's Toughest Test, Season 2, which premiered in September 2023, where he won the FOSS competition series alongside former Bachelor Nick Viall. Good for you guys. So, that is basically it. Do you have other little things that I'll share with you when the time is appropriate? But that is it for the hot goss. Let's hop into the reason that we are here. 90 Day and a Single Life season, is it 4 or 5? Episode 11, Natalie asks the question. First she does. Anyways, let's start with Chantel and get this over with. So, she's getting ready to meet up with Giannis. And, they're putting her in a dress with less dress and no bra. So, currently it's a surprise date. She has no clue what they're going to be doing. But we do eventually arrive at a soccer field, and my girl is wearing heels, so she was not prepared for the field. And he says that he has trained at this field all of his life. He tells her what he loves about football, which is it's an exciting sport. And he tells the camera, that she wanted to leave and she was ready to leave the previous night. So I guess this was during the escargot thing. And she says that she needs to see more things from him. He says that he realizes she needs to see more from him. And he tells Chantel, that he wants to be, a team and all of this with her. And he kind of feels like she would want the same thing from him. Yeah, I guess she would want the same thing I feel that's what anyone wants, honestly, is to be a team player with their person. If you're the person. She says, so why do I have to make the first move, basically? And he says that he struggles. He just needed more time, to really feel like he does like her. Although he has to, backpedal and say, but I do like you, like you're beautiful and whatever. Then he leans in and he gives her a kiss. Now, what I want to say about all these fucking kisses between these two is it's so fucking loud. I cannot stand the loud kissing. It's like I'm not gonna do it to you guys. I'm not gonna do the mouse sounds. It's just disgusting. I don't need to hear it. Anyways. Anyway, she likes the spark. And now she just can't let it go. I'm like, oh, so now you're all in? When a second ago you're complaining because you're not doing anything. You're constantly making the first move, but now you can't let go. I can't. Now they're gonna play some soccer together. And he finds kind of every opportunity he can to kiss her, whatever. And kind of one of those moments that he does kiss her, he kind of just says to her, I really like you. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. Anyways, let's move on. Giannis kicks the ball and, he misses the net. And funny enough, like Chantel, kind of like the rest of us, is like, but he's supposed to be a professional. What happened there? Anyway, so she says, so where should we go from here? Like, are we friends or like what? And he's like, no, we're more than friends. Whatever you say, Giannis. Anyway, she says that she would love for him to visit her in the States. And he's like, well, yes, that's the man. I will come visit you in the States. But then I would like you to come back and visit me here too. So they've kind of made this plan. They're going to be going back and forth, I guess. No, they won't. He's never going to the States. Come on. Why would you? Why would you leave beautiful Greece to go to fucking Atlanta? And not that I would love to go to Atlanta too, but I'm just saying it's Greece. So she says that there are a lot of similarities between Giannis and Pedro in terms of how they're meeting, how it's going, and all that. And it's like, I mean, there are going to be some similarities between the two men because they're both international. Like, if you're so concerned about the similarities between the two, then don't find another person who lives abroad. I don't get it. Anyway, um, next day she leaves, by the way, guys. So we'll move on now to the next day. They're getting ready to leave now. Flight is in 3 hours. Then, as like the car's being packed up and the four dum-dums are going into the car, we see this car that just kind of pulls up in the distance. And lo and behold, guys, it's fucking Giannis. So he comes up to the car door, shooketh. Everybody's shooketh. He came with flowers, and Chantel comes out the car, and she's like, they're kissing, whatever. You hear Mooney yelling in the background, and he says, like, he couldn't let her leave without a last kiss. And Chantel is like, I don't want to leave for real, but you need to go. He says, okay, last kiss. Okay, now go. It feels like a movie. And Chantel says as much. She says, it feels like he really does care about her. So, like, this, her, her expectations are real fucking low. Honestly. And he's like watching her leave and they're making a big fuss over them, like over him watching them leave. And, she's like, it feels like a movie, like I said before. And I'm just like, and that's how you know it's not real. Life is not a movie. Okay. And if you feel like life is a movie, then it's not real. Life is hard. Life is hard. It's not a fairy tale. It's not a rom-com. My God. Anyway. She's like, I know he's into me now because he came and he said goodbye to me. Like, man. Anyway. Anyways, did I mention that these four twiddly dum-dums are dressed alike? Of course I didn't. But I didn't forget. Anyways. She says that, Giannis could be her next fairy tale. And I said, again, doesn't exist. I want more for her. I really do. But this is the last episode. I do want to kind of say this. I'm disappointed in Chantel's storyline with Single Life. I expected a lot more from her journey on Single Life, and I'm disappointed by it. I unlike a lot of the other people we've had on this iteration, she comes in with this fairy tale notion, and it's just like, how? Was she always like this? And obviously we didn't see this because we just didn't. But it's disappointing to see her like this. And I don't know if she's has always been this way or if she's pushing this because she's 32 and thinks she's running out of time to have kids. It's just disappointing. I'm disappointed by her storyline. And if she's going to continue on past this season with a future season, I need a little more. I really do. I need a little more substance from her. None of this nonsense. Anyways, that is it for Chantel. Let's move on to our next person, Natalie. This is great, guys. So, we're dropping off Mama, and Mama tells Mike that she's so grateful for him. Yeah. Natalie says, I do feel pressure from Mama, but, she gets it. She loves Mike. And I'm just like, okay, You just said the most important part here is that you feel pressure from her to get back with Mike. All of this, all of what we were about to see is because of her mother. And it's just sad. Anyway, she's like, I need to, make one good decision. You made the decision. You moved to the States. Instead of staying in the States with Mike and Puglia, you went off to fucking Florida and now LA, chasing a dream you were never going to get. Anyway, let's continue. So now, just Mike and Natalie, we're driving somewhere else, and she loves that he is here. She says, you should have seen Mike's eyes when he looked, when he saw me. It was like that. And she like opens her eyes like wide, and she's like, it made me feel like a queen. You should write a book about it. What the fuck? She's like, Josh never looked at me like that. Ugh. But then she says, but Mike broke her heart. I say, what now? When? Natalie, the first time we saw you, I believe it was the first time we saw you, you threw the ring at Mike, and Mike broke your heart? I'm so confused. I'm so confused. Please tell me, did I miss something? Did I forget something? Because I'm so confused. Anyways, Mike says that he's looking for, a fresh start, weighing his options. That's kind of where he's at right now. Anyway, so they sit down somewhere, wherever they are, and she tells me that there's been a lot of things that she's been thinking about. She's like, I burned a bridge with you and, worrying about my career. It was kind of my main thing, but now I'm here and I realize I gave up something more precious, our family. He says, yeah, you did. She then says, I was thinking maybe we could talk and maybe you could reconsider having kids with me. Hmm? Mike says, flat out, no. Bitch, no. No. It's a no from me, dog, no. And she says, she literally says, why? What? Ma'am, have you met you? That's why. Because he's like, I'm ready to move on. And this is so great. She's like, move on where? Where the fuck you going? Is where she wants to say. And she's like, you're my husband, Natalie. Wow. Wow. You're my husband, Natalie. Be for real here. You're his wife. Yet you went and you fucked Josh. Pot, kettle. Y'all both black. I don't understand. She asks him, like, did you meet someone? I'm like, girl, he met a lot of people. But anyways, she's like, I love you. I care for you. Now you love him and you care for him. When mama says, we need to fix this. And he's like, well, you've been like in relationships with other people, but you love me and care. Okay. But she's like, not people, just Josh. And he's not even here anymore. And he's like, what am I? Your backup plan? And he's like, I care about you. And Mike says, or no, sorry, she's like, I care about you and I, is what she says. And Mike says, there is no you and I. Boom. No more needs to be said. Just Mike fucking drop. There is no you and I. Oof. And he's like, you did that. You're the reason there's no you and I. And this is what you wanted. And he's like, all the grass isn't always greener. But you can't come back to me now that you realize the grass isn't greener. This is so good. He's like, I moved on. And he says that, into the camera, he says, this was her dream. This was her dream. This is what she wanted. Just, things just don't always turn out the way you wanted it to. Doesn't mean you can come crawling back to Big Mike. He says that we're friends, but that does not mean that I'm going to pump a baby into you. The fucking visual when he said that. Like, damn, Mike, shit. Anyway, he says he's ready to move on. And Natalie's like, to who? To who? And he's like, well, no one in particular. And she's like, well, I have no one. And you have no one. That's your pitch? That he has no one and you have no one, so let's have a baby together? Jesus Christ. Anyways, she's like, you're my family. I won't give up. And he tells her, well, I have been making steps to make the divorce final. And she tells him, you can't. Natalie, may I please take you back to the previous tell-all where you told Mike, I'm not going to divorce you. But if you want to divorce me, that's up to you. You have to divorce me. I'm not going to divorce you. He's doing it. He's fucking doing it. She's like, Mama loves you. And she's like, and I care for you. So let me say this. She says, Mama loves you and I care for you. So you don't love him then? He's just a man full of sperm for you. He's literally probably thinking, aliens, come beam me up now because I'm done with this. Anyways, yeah, he's like, this is final. She asks, like, this final? He's like, yeah. She's like, okay, I need to take a moment. And she walks away, and she's crying because it sounds like she's laughing. She's like, and she's going off, and she's like, I hoped he wanted a child. I won't divorce him. He's my family. You don't divorce family. I won't be ignored, Mike. He better be careful. Anyways. Then she starts crying as she walks away. And scene. Jesus Christ. She's fucking gold. Anyways. That's it for Natalie. What I will say on Natalie this season. It was a good season for Natalie. Yep. Some good things that we got from her. Yeah. But we've had her before, so it is what it is. Have you ever wanted to guest on a podcast like this one that you're listening to right now? Well, you can. You can definitely do this by visiting a website called Podmatch, where you can sign up and be available for all different types of podcasts that you can guest on. Or you can even search for a podcast and say, I want to guest on your podcast. I think we'd be a good match. So if you want to do this, you can go to our unique link, which is joinpodmatch.com/reality, and you can sign up and do exactly that. And you can find us and you can guest on our podcast. So again, that unique link is www.joinpodmatch.com. That's joinpodmatch.com/reality, REALITEA, and you can be a guest on our podcast. Let's go to our final person. We've got Miss Debbie. So Debbie is packing, and she says, a suitcase full of hope and promises. So that's what she's packing. But Julian's now here, And Debbie says it's about fucking time. What the hell did you tell Ruben? And she says, I told you, because he says, like, well, you said you were going to move to Miami. Like, I had to stop that shit. And she's like, I told you that. I had no intentions of moving to Miami right away. Like, what the fuck? Anyway, she's like, you're nasty sometimes, making me look bad. His response, you make yourself look bad. Jesus fucking Christ. If I told my mother, oh, you make yourself look bad, those are the last words I would ever say. My goodness. Anyways, then you brought up the O word, not orgasm or sama. And she's like, she's like, she just wanted to tell him when she was ready, not when Julian was ready. And she's like, when are you going to forgive me for moving to Morocco? And Julian says, I forgave you when you came home. He just kind of tells her, I just want to protect you and I don't want anyone to hurt you. He's just being a protective son. He's like, I get sometimes I overstep. I'll stay out of it. But you know what? If he does something, I will call it out. She's like, well, tell me in private. He's like, no. I'm going to call it out in front of him. Yeah. So Ruben's going to be taking her to the airport. So Julian's off. Bye, Julian. We're not going to see him again right now. So yeah. And did y'all notice? I know we all know because I've been everywhere. If you want to make a point to the new guy that the old guy don't mean shit, don't come to Miami with a Morocco bag. Anyway, here's Ruben. I'm going to be taking her to that airport. And he says, the time we had was short, but it was adventurous. It was, jam-packed. But, they've just scratched the surface. So while they're on the way there, they're not talking. She says it feels awkward. His body language is off. Now she's kind of just worried at this point. But she says all in Ruben's hands now with everything that he knows, But they get to the airport and he says, it feels like they are like this soup that's brewing. And she says, well, I don't want to, live off of fairy tales. Y'all, she needs a hero. I need a hero for. It's gotta be cool and it's gotta be fresh from the fire. I need a hero. Okay. But she's like, she needs a hero. A hero is a guy who knows how to be straight and loyal. She doesn't want to be hurt. But he says that he will visit her in Atlanta and make it caliente. And she tells him, honey, you already caliente. Ooh. And then they kiss and, she kind of does that. Yolanda laughs like, she kind of does that laugh. And she's like, okay, bye. And she starts to walk away. And he's like, your bag. And y'all, she almost forgot her bag. Oh no. But she says that kind of in the moment, kind of says, my outside might be older, but her inside is a fountain of youth. And you know what? I thought that was beautiful. But that's it for Miss Debbie for this season. Now, how did I feel about Miss Debbie on this season? I love her. I love her from beginning to end. I love her. She can do no wrong for me. I love her. I didn't kind of do this with the others. So we had John. I love John for what John is. I love Sparkles. I love it all. I could have done with less Patrick and Thais, which would have been 0. So, But not to worry, guys, we're gonna get them soon. Who else do we have? We have Tyree. I could have lived without Tyree. He brought nothing, personally. Who else did we have that was new? Technically, we had Tim that was new this season. I liked him. That's the thing. So, anyways. But I think that's all the new people we had. We had Veronica. We had Natalie. We were the returning people. Everyone else was new. So, yeah, that's how I feel about the season. But tell all time. So next time on, Tyree has to tell us that his penis works. Let's move on past that. Megan, apparently is jealous, and John's told Patrick, so there we go. Josh is an ass, kind of being like, well, we're not even together. I'll talk about family for. Debbie kind of slut shamed Chantel a little bit. Although, I mean, I understand what Debbie's saying, because I kind of agree to a point. But again, like I've said before, if she was going in saying she wants to let her freak flake fly, then by all means, you walk into that club with no underwear on. Go for it. Do it. I don't care. But the fact that she kind of went in kind of being like, I want to, a long-term and serious relationship. Well, unfortunately, men are dogs, and you have to go in with the, kind of the right intention. Get yourself. Make sure they see you differently. Because men are dumb. Anyways. Would I tell Chantel that as a complete stranger? No, I wouldn't. Let her figure it out. It's not your place. So there's that. But of course, as Debbie is kind of saying some shit about Chantel, there's Mama Karen just waiting in the background being like, the fuck you say? You better be careful, Miss Debbie, that you don't got shocky. Anyways, then we have Tim's girl, which I can't remember her name right now. Says that Veronica actually called Jamal trash and that she couldn't believe that she was with him. Yikes, that's not good. I mean, I don't like Jamal. I think he's an asshole, but I wouldn't consider him trash. So I didn't like that. Anyways, then we have the Debbies fighting each other. We have Miss Debbie in this corner. We got Mother Debbie in the other corner. What is happening? Then Natalie freaks out because she thinks Tim is calling her a prostitute. Anyways, this looks like it's going to be an interesting tell-all. And I'm here for all of it. But that is it for this episode of The Single Life. So if you like what you heard, please rate, review the podcast on either Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Also, don't forget that you can also share us with everyone in your life if you really love this. And I do want to read those reviews. I'm definitely getting 5-star ratings, but I want to read those reviews. So send me those reviews and I will read those 4 and 5-star reviews on the podcast. Also, we're on every one of your favorite podcast apps. Every one of them, including you can find us on YouTube at Reality Tea Times2. If you want to connect with us, you can do so by going to either Facebook or Instagram at Reality Tea Times2. You can also find us on Twitter, TikTok, Reddit at Reality Tea Times2 Pod. We also have our email, which is at realityteatimes2 at hotmail.com. Definitely want to hear from you guys. And we also have our new website where you can listen to all of these episodes. You can review the podcast on there as well. You can connect with me in any way, all the stuff. It's all there, and you can find me there at www.realityteatimes2, all spelled out, .podpage.io. It's there. And don't forget, I also have my other podcast with my friend Mikkel, Next Take Podcast, where we talk about all kinds of different topics. But you can find us on any of your favorite podcast apps over there as well. Or you can also go to YouTube, and you go to Next Take Podcast, as well as our website, which is solo.to/Next Take Podcast. So yeah, there's that, and that's basically that. And again, don't forget, if all of this information is overwhelming, we do have all of the links, everything in our show notes. But that is it for now, guys. Thanks. Bye.